I would say if you are considering, whether it's the mentorship or, any of the work that you offer, um, for them to give it their full consideration, like really, really consider it, um, because the work is a precious gift, for those that are wanting to receive it, and not just a gift for the people who do it, but a gift for the people around them, because the work ripples outward. When we change, everything changes.
Imagine discovering a pathway that cuts through the noise of trying to heal, to instead offer you a clear, revolutionary initiation into your most connected, abundant, loved, and purpose-filled self. A place where your dreams transform into personal reality. I'm Allura Halliwell, founder of the Consciousness Method, and it's with deep gratitude that I connect with beautiful souls who have already experienced this transformative method firsthand. They'll share how it has profoundly changed their lives and led them into inner truth. Hello, Nicky. Welcome to the Consciousness Method podcast.
Thank you.
Absolutely, honored to have you here. How exciting for me to have a chat with you. We've been working together this year and it's been an incredible journey for me too. And I'm looking forward to hearing how it was for you. But I just want to dive into something that's happening right now. We came out of retreat last weekend. We were with 60 beautiful humans in the Blue Mountains. And while we were there, we had some activations going on, one of which was a Kundalini activation. And I'd love to hear from you, Nicky. How are you going after that experience?
I've had a bit of a, it was a week ago. I've had a bit of a crazy week. So we came off the retreat on Sunday, and I had quite a lot going on during the Kundalini activation actually in the room. It was like electric shocks, and I wasn't worried about it. I've been around the yoga community most of my adult life, so it was kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, well, this is interesting, and yeah, completely involuntary and quite intense. Um, and then, yep, the retreat ended and we went home, and I had a really good night's sleep. And then the following night, I woke up in the middle of the night and I just had this feeling of I just needed to move my hands. And as soon as I started moving my hands, I just started shaking and trembling and wobbling and whatever. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to wake Mark up, my husband. So I went next door and lay down on the floor. And basically for an hour, it just went off. And yeah, and I realized I could close it down, but the impulse was actually just relax, 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 just let it happen, ride the waves. And yeah, sometimes it was just incredibly intense shaking and really fast and kind of weird movements and up in my throat and down in my around my hips and just all over. And then I was like, okay, right, that was cool. I'll go back to bed. And then basically, what is it now? We're Monday again, so it's been a week. And I'm in this place now of I can go about my normal day, but there comes regular points in the day where I'm like, I just need to go and sit quietly because this actually needs to move again. And it's not going to feel good if I keep avoiding it or just ignoring it. And as soon as I sit down and I center myself, off I go again. And I'm kind of fascinated by all the different shapes and movements my body can do, because something else will happen. I'm like, oh, that's weird. We haven't done this one before. And sometimes it's really fast and it's mostly quite smooth. It's not really jerky, but sometimes it's just really, really fast. And I keep thinking I'm going to have lots of after effects because it's like jerking my neck around and jumping up and down on my bum. And but actually, I'm fine. I just yesterday I had a really intense session, for want of a better word, and I went to bed at 8 o'clock. I was done. So, but yeah, I feel the more I kind of give over to it, the better. And yeah, I had this strange experience yesterday of going for this walk. I just went for a walk. I just felt like I needed to move. And after about 5 minutes into the walk, I just had this experience of I am being walked, and I was being walked faster and faster to the point where I was wanting to, well, I wasn't wanting to, the energy wanted me to run, and I was like, no, I'm not running. But I was walking really, really fast. And then we got to this very steep hill and it didn't slow down. I'm like, okay, we're doing the hill at full speed. And yeah, just very, very strange. But also strange to the intellect, my mind, but actually after a week it sort of feels quite normal. It's just doing its thing, and I'm going for the ride. So
Nikki.
yeah. And I feel I think I said to you, I feel like my sillies are being shaken out, but from a lifetimes of sillies shaking out, and that there's a freeing up, and in the traditions, that's what a Kundalini energy moving is an energetic realignment of all the bodies, the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body, and yeah, I feel actually quite calm and intrigued and excited, and yeah, it's uh,
That's
it's
big.
benign. I think that's the thing that's so clear to me, is it's benign. And as long as I just go for the ride, it will all be wonderful.
I love that, Nikki. Benign but so powerful at the same time.
Benign, but not to be messed with.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not to be suppressed, not to be overridden because my mind's going, this is weird. What is this? I don't want to do this. I don't understand this. It's like none of that. It's just let all of that go and just allow it to move me. Yeah.
Oh, it's
So if you see
incredibly
me, so if you
profound.
see me in the suburbs walking really fast,
Nikki's powered by Kundalini energy. She's like an energizer bunny. So good. And this energy is so profound and sacred, as you know. And just for anyone listening, the Kundalini awakening was a huge piece in my self-realization journey after I left my body and came back and felt tapped into this universal energetic consciousness, which I believe is here to realign and purify and connect us to the source of ourselves. And it's very much one of those experiences where the surrender into its intelligence is what allows it to become the pathway. So knowing that and being prepared to allow that to be the case, I think is a beautiful realization and process in itself. And for you, Nikki, I now want to just take a step kind of back to your incredible journey as a lifelong seeker and how you've been in some incredible spaces and relationships to facilitate your journey. So could you just share just an overview about how important it has been for you to be on this evolutionary path for so long?
I kind of have to go way back. I feel like I was born wanting to know. I was just a big question mark, and just this lifelong sense of, why am I here? What are we here to experience? What is this all about? And it created this kind of split in me slightly because I was, from a societal point of view, I I'm reasonably high functioning in terms of work, in terms of, finances, in terms of, we live a comfortable life. I've got some great friendships. I'm loved. I love. I've been married to Mark for nearly 40 years. We've got two grown-up children. It's in that sense all the boxes are ticked. And, you look at my life and you kind of go, yeah, that's pretty good. Um, but I've always had this feeling of um, just nobody really understood those questions, and nobody seemed very interested. And I think I had this profound sadness and loneliness as a result of that, because it was like nobody really gets me, or is nobody else asking any of these questions, or is this not important to anybody else? Certainly as a child I really felt that. And it was very much that thing of, don't ask too many questions, and, just life is life and make the most of it, and, don't worry about it, basically. And so, yeah, I just went off on this great big seeking, and it I just showed up in this kind of unquenchable thirst to see it all, know it all, understand it all. And then, so in my 20s, once I was an adult and I was sort of able to be a bit more self-directed, I went off and studied lots of different types of meditation, and there were some answers in that, and there was some I guess soothing. There was some soothing of the searching in that. I went and studied somatic psychotherapy because I went, well, is the answer in my physical being? Is it about understanding how my body feels and energetics and where things are and how all that's put together? So I studied that, and I worked in the conflict resolution space because I went, okay, is it about my interactions with other people? Is the answer there? So I just went off spinning around searching all these things. And I mean, one of my big things for a long, long time, particularly in that really difficult period through teenage years, is, I just kind of don't want to be here. It's like, if this is it, if it's just ticking the boxes and I'm never going to get these questions answered and I'm never going to get met in that place that is so profoundly unmet, I don't know that I can be here. Like, how do I do this? It's so painful and so sad. Um, and then I would have been in my 30s. I did a bit of Lifeline on the phones as a counselor. And what I recognized was people in profound pain wanting to really exit. And I realized I didn't want to exit. I wanted that there was something in me that wanted to be met. So it was about going in more. And in and around that period, I became a devotee of a spiritual teacher who was American by birth, but studied under a lineage and was very much associated with an Indian lineage. And it was so clear to me that he saw it all, knew it all, understood it all of it, like everything. But I realized over time that my being was not prepared to receive in full what he was offering. It's like I'm a container, or more, that he was an electrical charge and my wire was only a certain diameter. And if he had put that charge through that diameter, it would have fried me. And therefore, you can only receive what you're capable of receiving. And I think that's part of the lifelong seeking journey, is that you work on expanding the capacity of your wire, your bodily wire, your emotional wire, your physical wire, your spiritual wire. And what I recognize is that all of the seeking that I have done has been necessary to come to this space, which is part of that whole process of evolution as human beings, which, as you always say, is what we're here to do. So I'm incredibly kind of grateful to myself, I think, first and foremost, for going out and trying to find and look, even when people said to me, what, why are you doing all this? Like, what are you wanting? And just feeling always slightly, yeah, I never felt that there was anything wrong with me, or that I was broken, or that I was less than, but it was just I can't I can't be the only person. But yeah, through that seeking, I met so many people who were asking different versions of the same question, but it has been extremely rare, and I think it is rare to meet people who have understood it all, got it all, and they walk among us. They walk among us on the planet. And yeah, as I say, you have to be in the right space, I think, to receive. And I was in the right space to receive you, Allura, and I'm extremely grateful for that. Yeah. Mm. So yes, I think, yeah, just the search and um yeah, that's been my life. I mean, there's nothing else to say. That has been my life. I've had a job and a family and a marriage and kids and all of that in the background, but that has been front and center for me. I'm 59, and it's like that has been front and center for 6 decades.
Wow. Yeah.
5 decades, 6 decades,
Yeah,
whatever.
it's huge. It's completely driven your whole perception, experience, motivation for your being here. And I feel so honored to be able to meet you at this point and to be able to share in that consciousness, because you're right in saying there's a preparation that can come for us to be able to receive whatever's on offer. And I find with the work I offer, everyone meets it wherever they are. Um, but for you, what did you find that you could meet within this work, within this space, that closed some of that gap of the seeking for you within yourself?
I think what I was able to receive was the space that you span is both the grounded, therapeutic, structural, functional nature of our existence as humans in this world, in this reality, but also it is so clear to me that you are also in that space of the knowing, the seeing, the understanding. And so it's been the marriage of those two together for me has satisfied something in me that wasn't satisfied by those things separately. So the study of all the somatics and the therapy and the experience of it and the conflict resolution and all of those things met part of that. And being a devotee of a spiritual master in some ways made me realize how little I understood and saw and knew. But yes, it's been the marrying of those two together. And I knew that the moment I met you, and we were having a discussion about, the work together, whatever. And I remember my opening sentence was, I'm in, whatever it is, I'm in. So I guess the conversation now is, so what do we do and how does it work? Which I was less interested in. It was just so apparent to me that, yep, this is where I'm at and I can receive this. I'm ready. So
Mm.
that was that. And in terms of, I mean, I've worked with you now for 6 months. I think, again, that experience of nothing that has come before, and I think it's true for all of us, wherever we are, however we are, all of the things that have come before, the experience, the knowledge, the understanding, all of it has culminated in where I am now. And this will culminate into things ongoing. So it's not like I feel I've reached the end or any kind of finality. This is just part of the ongoing evolution.
Yeah.
And I think out of the mentorship, I've really understood kind of the mechanics of how I construct myself or how I have constructed myself out into the world. And like so many of these things, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Sometimes it trips you up and you through the habit and the habitual neural pathways of the things that we do for a lifetime. But I can catch myself much sooner now. And then there's choice. There's always that point of choice where you go, am I going to behave in that habitual way that I always do? Or am I going to acknowledge that I've seen it and I'm actually not going to do that? It's a fraction of a second, but it's like all things in life with practice. I'm getting better at that. And yeah, just seeing so clearly my kind of addictive structures and patterns and how it's kept me spinning outwards, always pushing my energy outwards has been profound, because what's happened for me now is that polarity has reversed and now I'm kind of spiraling inward. And I feel like part of this energetic release that's going on with the shaking and the being walked around the suburbs is is that reversal, that polarity reversal. And I've got no idea where I'm going, how I'm going, what's going to happen. But it's like this kind of embryonic emptiness that's tingling with potential, is what it feels like, with possibility. And what I realize is I don't need to know. It's okay not to know, which for me, if anybody knows me, it's like massive. To not need to know is yeah, that's big for me. And I think also out of all of that, there's this feeling of, I think my intuition has always been there, and I've gone through periods where I can listen more clearly. And I feel that I'm in a space now again of being able to listen more clearly to my intuition. And a few things have started kind of coming up, that sense of I need to move in that direction, or I probably don't really want to spend time with that person just now, or actually I do need to jump on that, or it's that it's the planner, fixer, solver part of me that as soon as I let go of that intuition, that intuitive sense picks up more, and I'm sort of playing in that space at the moment. That I don't have to. In fact, the moment I'm forcing it or trying to fix it or trying to make it happen, if I relax that, then that tingling of the possibility space, the intuition space, that embryonic space that I'm in of sort of possibility, and I realize that it's like I am created. It's like if I release into that creator space, just like the other day, I am walked, or that experience, and we've had, many of your listeners would have had that experience of being breathed, of
Mm.
doing a practice where that feeling of there's something clicks over and you feel breathed rather than that motion of you breathing yourself. I'm having that at the moment with that creator space when I let go, and just it's like I am created, and then I'm drawn or moved towards certain things and away from other things. So, but it's really subtle. I feel like I'm just beginning. Yeah.
It's amazing. Amazing. That in between space, right? We talk about that in between space between the wholeness and the wound. It's the pure potential space where you're in, I love the word embryonic, but in that fluid creation mode where there's nothing fixed, there's nothing permanent, nowhere to go, nothing to do, no one to be, but everything's available. And that's just a spectacular existence to be unfolding into that unknown. And I love hearing that. And I love hearing the end of this energetic cycle of extending outwards to know yourself so deeply inwards and to know the truth of yourself and let that be an unfolding. And I'm curious, we've worked, in lots of spaces over the mentorship, and you sort of spoke a little bit to the energetic rewiring, which is a deep, fundamental, I feel, rewiring of our energy from the spiraling out to the inward momentum and inward consolidation. But some of the other processes we've done are the dying to self and the working with the fear and the pain. Is there anything you'd like to offer on how those processes impacted your journey or how you felt they shifted parts of you?
I feel it's been a kind of gradual unfolding for me. We've had a few sessions where we really worked on some deep pain, and I think one of the things I've come to realize that you have talked about is it's not that we have to work on every single little pain that's happened in our life. Actually, they're all just gateways to the same pain at its somatic rawness in the body is the same sensation, whether it comes from what I've gone through, which is the death of my parents and my brother, my only brother, unexpectedly in the space of only 3 years, was a very particular type of pain. The pain that I went back to, the very disciplined, regimented, quite suppressive childhood that I had, was a different entry point into what turned out to be the same pain. The existential sadness that I've felt all my life kind of underlies all of that. When we went into some of that space, it was the same pain. And I felt that the work that I'd done with the somatic training that I'd done, and all the things that I'd used over the years from that, really helped me stay centered in that, because the mind, when you go into that pain, wants to create story and, oh, why am I feeling this? And or even just, oh, is this the portal? Is this happening? Is it working? Is this what Allura has talked about? And the mind just wants to kind of spin off. And so it was about being able to just stay centered in that. And I think, yes, over time and over doing that process many times, just again, layers of trapped experiences and trapped energy around all of those separate things just starts to, for me, it just dissolved. And what I'm left with is that underlying sadness I have felt all my life. It's not grief, and it's not kind of worry sadness or frightened sadness. It's that existential, just sadness of being separated from myself. And I realize now it was from the moment of inception. I wasn't aware of it until I was, a young child. But that's just I can't even begin to explain the sadness. And it's dissolved. It has dissolved. And you know what, if we had done nothing else, to be able to sit here at this point in my life and go, I can still kind of tap into what it felt like, but I can't connect with it. It's not encoded in me anymore. It has gone. And what I'm actually left with is kind of a curiosity around so many things from that. And yeah, as I say, if we did nothing else, or the work left me with nothing else, to not have to live with that deep sadness in every cell of my being anymore is just, I can't tell you the relief. I can't tell you the relief. Well, I can, the relief.
Yeah, I can feel it.
You know the relief.
No.
And I think also I dealt with a lot of the grief around my family passing away, and yeah, it frees. The mechanism is so clear to me now that it just, the fear holds you away from wanting to go into the pain. The support from you and the mentorship structure that you've created allows the space to open up, to go through the fear into the pain, and to know that I knew I was safe to be with that pain, and that actually I can hold myself in that pain. It's not even looking for you to hold me safe, or somebody else, or whatever, or I have to be in a particular place. It was, I could hold myself safely in that pain and go into it, and it releases layers, just as the shaking is releasing something else in me. It is just giving in and surrendering to that raw in that process. And the body knows how to do it. I think that was the other thing that was so clear to me going through it, is the body innately knows how to do it. And so you actually just kind of get out of your own way, and it unfolds, and you come out the other side. You've used a bucket of tissues, and you feel a bit shaken up, and you might need to go and have a nana nap, but you survive, and something releases. And I have felt more expanded and relieved of, yeah, that pain. But it was just so massive and so long term and so big. I feel like what we've done is we've just chipped and chipped and chipped and chipped, and there's more, and that's okay. And I know how to do it and how to access it and how to work with it, and that will be ongoing. And I think that is a life or lifetime's work to be done. It's part of the evolution, because it's the pain that holds us in time and place. And so part of the freeing is to keep working with that and be brave and go in there. And the thing is, your body builds trust and your mind builds trust, because every time you go through it and come out the other side, and it's like, okay, yeah, that was pretty full on, but it's all good. And there's good things from the other side. So I think it becomes this virtuous um, spiral, and you realize the pain itself, there's nothing to fear of the pain itself. It's just sensation and movement and energy in the body, and it feels good to let it go. So yeah, that's been my experience.
Oh, Nikki, I think you've expressed that so eloquently and so beautifully, because the liberation of that mechanism is profound, and the consciousness that comes through, and the safety in the body, and the sense of your own essence being arriving for you to have a relationship with is really beautiful. And I loved how you touched on that it's you, and this is something that's so important to this work, that it's not me, and it's not about me making that happen. It's about understanding the gateway and the consciousness and the portal to be able to initiate that for yourself. And for everyone to be sovereign in that work is so critical for lifelong evolution, for reconnecting time and time again through that pain to the source of self.
I would add one thing though that has always stayed with me since I did my somatic psychotherapy training was you can't take someone somewhere you haven't been yourself. So I think there's a lot of modalities and practitioners and people out there doing amazing work. But one of the things that has been unique for me with you is you've been there, you've used this method, um, you've been there. It's as simple as that. You've been there, so it's safe for other people to go in the work that you offer, to go to those places. And a few friends that I've spoken to have said, "Oh, you know what? I don't think I've ever really done deep work like that." And these are friends who have worked with, therapists, psychologists, sometimes for many years. And I'm just going, how can that be? And then I just that phrase always comes back up. You can't take someone where you haven't been yourself. And I do think that is built into just the structure of how we evolve. And it's why it's so important to find people that are offering the real thing. And part of that realness and integrity around the work is, you have to have been there yourself, and God knows you have. And I could feel that, and it's like it's okay for me to release and surrender in this space because you're holding that energetic field. I'm doing the work. I'm keeping myself safe, and I initiate this and I end it in my own time. I'm sovereign, but you are holding the space because you've been there. And I think that is really critical to the work.
Oh, thank you, Nikki, for acknowledging that. And I really feel that deeply and honor that because it's true. It's not something that I've copied or studied, it's something I've embodied. And that cellular embodiment for me is so critical because so many beautiful humans come to me after doing so many layers of this work and haven't yet been able to experience the truth of it in their body, the truth of the experience of being a human and transversing these spaces. So to know that I have that encoded in me because I've taken myself there and I have not let myself divert from that path. It's been a continual awakening into that truth in me and then being able to hold that field. I really appreciate the reflection because that's what I want everyone that does this work to feel and know intrinsically. So it's really beautiful to receive. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. And so I suppose that's the final question that I had for you, Nikki. If someone was thinking about doing this level of work, especially with, maybe having done a lot of work before and being unsure whether there was something here, what would you say to that person?
I would say if you are considering, whether it's the mentorship or, any of the work that you offer, for them to give it their full consideration, like really, really consider it, because the work is a precious gift, for those that are wanting to receive it, and not just a gift for the people who do it, but for a gift for the people around them, because the work ripples outward. When we change, everything changes. And I think, as I said before, just that wonderful combination of grounded, therapeutic, really specific somatic, energetic work, but also the more sort of esoteric, quantum field work. It's just this wonderful blend of both. And I think that is pretty unique to your work. I think, like so many things in this realm, the more you put in, obviously, the more you're going to get out. You need to allocate time, you need to allocate energy, you need to allocate or get into a space of being willing to open to the degree that you can and be willing to be seen, to be vulnerable. But in that, knowing that you are safely and deeply held. And I think that it facilitates all of that happening. I think it's important to know that you bring that sense of autonomy for people. You're not seeking an ongoing attachment from people. You're not looking, there's no expectation, there's no hook, there's no, well, if you've done this, now you need to do this. And, there's no ongoing, I can't think what the word is, just, which there so often is. And I think so often that comes from a motive or a personality trait of someone offering work, and you're offering an experience, a moment, an evolution with no ongoing attachment. And that to me is pretty unique. Obviously people can choose that if it feels correct and aligned for them, but it's not baked into the structure in any way, shape or form. And that has been so clear from day one. And there's something very freeing and releasing, having been a devotee of a spiritual teacher, which, let me tell you, there is, not from him but from the structure around him, there was a lifetime expectation of being hooked in on every single level, and of abdication of that sovereignty. And that just never felt right. And I actually at one point walked away because I could feel that sovereignty was totally being undermined. And so there's none of that with you. And I just think what you provide gives a direct experience of becoming self-sufficient, sovereign, authentic to self, and actually how to do it. Actually how to do that for yourself ongoing. You take people through the process of the steps of doing it, and a direct experience of all of that, and then it's there for ongoing for yourself. And if you choose to do more work and more evolution with you, then that's there too. But and it's been so clear to me that there is, in all the interactions with all the different people, because we're all doing similar work but all from different angles and with different issues and different complications and different blocks and all the rest of it, but fundamentally it's the same work. It's so clear that there is nothing, and I mean nothing, and I don't think I've ever said this about anybody, there is nothing you can't work on, because you don't have any fear around any of it. And that has been so profound, to have met somebody who is like, there is nothing in me that could be too hideous, too dangerous, too unpleasant, too difficult, too stuck, too anything. There is no too. And that is just, that blew my mind, frankly. That's pretty amazing. And then I think of my dear brother, and when I used to go to him for support around questions that I had, and I'd be like, oh, should I do this? Should I? And he would always reverse it. So rather than, do the mentorship, in honor of my brother, the question I would have, the better question is, if any of this resonates with you at any level, why wouldn't you do it? Why wouldn't you gift yourself this? Because that's what we're all here to do. We're all here to evolve. And, grab the gift with two hands is what I would say. You've got nothing to be frightened of. Much love.
Thank you, Nicky. Much love.
Thank you, Allura.
Sweet.
It's been a hell of a 6 months.
Oh, it's been that for our lifetimes. It's time now. It's time to be free, and I'm just so honored to be walking this path with you, Nicky. So thank you so much for your words, for your energy, for your commitment to your own evolution, because that ripple effect that you create, just being the divine being you are in this process, in this evolution, it's exactly what we're here for. So thank you.
Thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure to spend this time with you, and to say thank you, I'd like to share with you 3 beautiful meditations to explore your core wounding, and a collection of masterclasses. You'll find these in your show notes. And if you feel the synergy to this path, know that it is available to you also.